Welcome everyone to Spanish Lessons with Juan. Clases de español con Juan. Today we are having our second lesson, segunda lección, which is about singular nouns, masculine and feminine. Sustantivos en singular, masculino y femenino. Parte 1. Part 1. Let's start. In Spanish, there are masculine and feminine nouns. How do I know whether a noun is masculine or feminine? You will know it mainly by its ending. Masculine nouns usually end with O, and feminine nouns usually end with A. For example, you have el niño, which means the boy. Niño is a masculine noun because it ends with O, and because it ends with O, you use the masculine definite article for singular nouns, el. So here you have el niño. If you want to have the feminine version of this masculine noun, the only thing you need to do is to change the last vowel, and instead of having O, you will have A, and you get la niña. Niña is a feminine noun because it ends with A, and because it is a feminine noun, you use the feminine definite article for singular nouns, in this case for feminine singular nouns, which is la niña, the girl. Here you have more examples. You have el perro, which means the male dog. And then you get la perra, which is the female dog. El hijo means the son. And then you get la hija, the daughter. El maestro, which means the male teacher. And then you can get the feminine version, which will be la maestra, which is the female teacher. Masculine nouns can also end with a consonant. For example, you have el profesor. As you can see here, you see a consonant, in this case the consonant R. We already saw in our previous video all the letters of the alphabet, so I recommend you to watch it again. So in this case, it is the male professor. If you want to have the feminine version of this noun, the only thing you need to do is to add the vowel A, and then you get the feminine version. In this case, you get la profesora, which is the female professor. El bailarín, which means the male dancer. La bailarina, which is the female dancer. El pintor, which is the male painter. La pintora, which means the female painter. Then you get el señor, and the feminine version of señor is señora, la señora. Now, this rule that you have just learned here has exceptions. So, pero, there are exceptions to this rule. What does it mean? It means that there are masculine nouns ending with A and feminine nouns ending with O. For example, you have el día. Día, you may think, oh, this is a feminine noun because it ends with A. But no, this is a masculine noun. And because it is a masculine noun, you use the masculine definite article. El día. El mapa. El mapa. El problema. El problema. The same situation happens with masculine nouns, happens with feminine nouns. For example, you get la foto. La foto. When you see this noun, photo, you may think, oh, this is a masculine noun because it has, it ends, with o. But no, this is a feminine noun. And because it is a feminine noun, you use the feminine definite article. La foto, la mano, la mano, la radio, la radio. So please keep in mind that you will find exceptions to this rule. So let's continue. There are some endings quite common in feminine nouns. Today you are going to learn some of them. And here you have them. You have the ending sion, sion, either with se or with ese. As in the words la canción, la canción, la habitación, la habitación. Habitación means bedroom. And we also have a masculine noun for this same word, bedroom, which is cuarto, el cuarto. So for this noun, you can either use the masculine noun, el cuarto, or the feminine noun, la habitación. Both means the same. Then you have la televisión, la televisión. And la diversión, la diversión. Then it is also quite common to find nouns ending with that and tat. For example, la ciudad, la ciudad, la hermandad, la hermandad, la amistad, la amistad, la libertad, la libertad. These endings are quite common in feminine nouns, which means that also masculine nouns have these endings, but they are not that common. So let's continue. There are some nouns whose endings are ante, ante, or ente, ente. These nouns can be either masculine or feminine. What makes these nouns masculine or feminine is the definite article you are using. For example, you have the noun estudiante, estudiante. This noun has the ending ante, ante, and it means student. So, estudiante can be either masculine or feminine. In this case, if I use the masculine definite article, estudiante becomes the male student. So here you have el estudiante, el estudiante, the male student. If I want to have the feminine version of this noun, the only thing I need to change is the article. In this case, instead of having el, I will have la, and then I get la estudiante, which now means the female student. We have more examples. Here you have el cantante, the male singer, and then you get la cantante, the female singer. El presidente, which is the male president, and then you get la presidente, the female president. el paciente, el paciente, the male patient, la paciente, la paciente, the female patient. There are other nouns whose ending is ista, ista, and the same situation happens with these nouns. They can be either masculine or feminine. So, for example, you have el pianista, el pianista. If I want to have the feminine version of this noun, I only change the definite article, and then I get la pianista, la pianista, el taxista, el taxista, la taxista, la taxista, el violinista, el violinista, la violinista, la violinista, el basquetbolista, el basquetbolista, la basquetbolista, la basquetbolista. Let's continue. Previously, I told you that masculine nouns usually end with O and consonant. Why did I say usually? Because there are some nouns that end with O and consonant, and they can be either masculine or feminine as well. So, here you have some examples. You have el modelo, the male model. If I want to have the feminine version of this noun, I only need to change the definite article, and I get la modelo, which means the female model. El piloto, which means the male pilot. La piloto, which means the female pilot. El joven, which means the male teenager. La joven, which means the female teenager. Let's analyze now some examples. You have here ejemplo. Juan es piloto. Juan es piloto, which means Juan is a pilot. Then if I have now María es piloto, María es piloto, you will notice that piloto remains the same. It doesn't matter if in the first case this is a personal name for men, and the second one a personal name which is more common for women. So it doesn't matter if it is a woman or a man, the noun piloto remains the same because piloto can be either masculine or feminine. Here we have another example. I can have él es modelo, and ella es modelo, In this case, modelo again remains the same, modelo. It doesn't matter if you are talking about he or she, because modelo is a noun that can be either masculine or feminine. Let's continue. There are other kind of nouns. For example, el hombre. You may think, okay, so according to the rules that you have just learned, in order to have the feminine version of this noun, maybe you only need to change the last vowel of this noun. So instead of having e, maybe you should have a. Or maybe the only thing you need to do is to change the definite article. So instead of having a masculine definite article, you may use a feminine definite article. But no, in this case, if you want to have the feminine version of these nouns, most of the time you need to give a totally different word. So in this case, the feminine version of hombre is la mujer. Mujer. Then you have, for example, el rey, the king, and the feminine one is la reina, el toro, la vaca, el caballo, la yegua, el actor. You may think, because it ends with a consonant, maybe I only need to add the vowel a. But no, you have la actriz, el padre, la madre, el papá, la mamá. If you watch the previous video, I told you and I taught you how to pronounce properly all the consonants that you can see here. So I recommend you to watch it if you have not watched it yet. Let's continue. Today you have learned a big deal of vocabulary, which I recommend you to study it again. We are going to add more vocabulary to the one we previously learned today. This vocabulary is related to members of family. I want to see if you are now able to predict the feminine version of the masculine nouns I will be giving you. So let's start. The first one is bisabuelo. What is the feminine version of this noun? Bisabuela. Abuelo. What is the feminine version of this noun? Abuela. Then you have padre. What is the feminine version of this noun? Madre. Then you have hijo. And hija. Hermano. Hermana. Tío. Tía. Primo. Prima. Sobrino. Sobrina. Nieto. Nieta. As you can see, it is quite easy to predict, in most of the cases, the feminine version of a masculine noun or the masculine version of a feminine noun. So let's continue. In the following ejemplos, you are going to learn about personal names. Here you have one of these personal names, Juan, which is my name, Juan. This personal name is a masculine noun because it ends with the consonant N. We saw today that usually masculine nouns end with a consonant. If you want to have the feminine version of this personal name, you only need to add the vowel A at the end, and you get Juana, Juana. For example, this name was the name of my grandmother, Juana. Now, if you have the name Lorena, Lorena, which is a female personal name, you may think, so if I want to have the masculine version of this personal name, I only need to delete the vowel A. But it turns out that, at least in Mexico, it is not common to find a guy whose name is Loren. Maybe in another Spanish-speaking country it is common, but in Mexico it is not common. And I can tell you, you will not find it. Not now, maybe in the future. So it is also common that you will find only the feminine version of a personal name or the masculine version of a masculine name. For example, the name Héctor. Héctor. This personal name, you only find it in its masculine version. There is no noun, Héctora. Héctora. It is not a noun you will, a personal name you will listen to. So this situation happens, keep in mind. Now, something special happens with the name Maria. Maria. This name can be either a masculine personal name or a feminine personal name, Maria. And something more interesting that happens with this name is that, for example, if someone is going to give the name to a boy using Maria, it is quite common that you will find it with the name Jose. So you will find guys whose name is Jose Maria. Jose Maria. Now, if you want to have the feminine version of Jose Maria, it is quite common that you are going to change the location of the names. So you are going to write first Maria and then Jose, and then you get Maria Jose. Maria Jose. Again, masculine names, Jose Maria. Jose Maria. Its feminine version, Maria Jose. Maria Jose. This is something that happens with personal names in Spanish. Let's continue. ¿Qué aprendí hoy? What did I learn today? Today you learned a big deal of vocabulary, which I recommend you to study again, because as I told you in the previous video, we are going to be using all the content, all the vocabulary, all the rules that we are learning video by video. And I'm going to be speaking more Spanish. So please study again all what you have learned today at home. So what did I learn today? You learned many things, but mainly you learned that los sustantivos en español tienen dos géneros, masculino y femenino. Spanish nouns can be either masculine or feminine. And also you learned that el es el artículo determinado masculino y la es el artículo determinado femenino. El is the masculine definite article and la is the feminine definite article. Remember that these articles, these definite articles, are definite articles for singular nouns, because there are also definite articles for plural nouns. Let's continue. In our next lesson, próxima lección, you are going to learn about sustantivos en plural, masculino y femenino, plural nouns, masculine and feminine, part 2, parte 2. So guys, thank you so much for today's lesson. I wish you such an excellent week and see you in our next lesson. Hasta pronto. Muchas gracias.